everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wayfaring Strangers. I am
Hi!
Jack. I'm speechless. And I'm joined by, as always, Andrew.
Hello. Hello, hello.
And yes, so we're just gonna dive into this episode today because it's thick.
It's
It's got the
chunky.
sauce, and I don't know what I just said, but I said
Got the sauce?
I feel like that's something.
I mean, that is
It's
a
got the juice?
saying. It's got, well, the
What is it?
corn has the juice. It's
Yes,
got the
that's
juice.
I hate that fucking song. I feel like
Um,
the only person that
come
doesn't like that
on.
song. No, I love
Um,
that little boy, but the person that made it into a song, stop.
it's got the sauce is a real thing as well. I just want to let you
Okay.
know that that's true. That's a turn of phrase. You
Okay.
don't hear it that often, but it certainly is a turn of phrase.
Alright, so I was right. Thank you.
I'm here to help. Go
Always.
Bighorns.
Go Bighorns. Yes, that's the chapter we are in. We are at the university. Go Bighorns, and just couple introduction stuff. So if you have not yet and you would like to let us know how we are doing, what you think of the show, what you think of us, please go over to iTunes and give us a review for us to read and check out at a later date. Or rate us on Spotify. I don't think they have written reviews on Spotify, but I did see that we have pretty high marks over on Spotify. So all y'all listen over there, thank you very much for that.
Thanks. I should check Spotify one day.
Yeah, you should. I know we are an Apple Music household, so we are
In this
rarely.
house, we celebrate the joy of Apple Music. It's just so
Yeah,
easy. It's just
it
so
is.
easy.
It's all in one spot. We've been using it for like
Not
10
easier than
years.
not easier than Spotify. It's just like when I need Bella to have access to something, I'm just like on my phone. I'm like, now you're on the plan, and
Mhm.
then that's what we mean by easy. Not that
Yeah.
anything's better, just easy.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit more streamlined for our household. And so I know I don't usually do this, but I have a few notations on the previous episode for episode 21, the ranch house, because there were two things that I missed, and as I was going in to play Go Bighorns, for some reason my save game took me back to the beginning of the ranch house. So I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll play again." It's not hurting me at all to replay the same parts over and over again, especially the best parts.
Gonna
But
hang out more time with Joel. God, twist my arm.
I know.
Getting dark.
Uh, but I just wanted to primarily focus on the teen girl bedroom that Ellie was in, and they had their very big talk. Real quick notation. So when I went back into the teenage girl's bedroom before killing all the bad guys, I found just a few gems. So there were soccer balls, posters, Catch You Later, which by someone named Michael Scott. So it makes me wonder if anybody at Naughty Dog were fans of The Office, and I'm guessing absolutely there
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
You remember that thing we saw? We're like in The Last of Us is the
Oh,
office.
yes. But that's
So
in the remake.
I know. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this Catch You Later Michael Scott thing might not have been there in the old version.
Well,
We have
I
no way
don't
of knowing. It doesn't exist anymore. It's unplayable.
I do know that Sarah's bedroom had a Michael Scott poster in the beginning in the prologue, but I never checked the teen girl's bedroom because that's the thing. I always just after Joel and Ellie had that very tense discussion, heartbreaking discussion, I immediately just go into kill mode instead of just stopping, taking a beat, and looking around.
Mm.
And this was the first time I did this, which is why I want to talk about these few things. So, the Michael Scott thing was definitely a throwback to even the remastered version. Uh, but I can't say for sure if the original um had this poster in it because I've never stopped to look. So I'm sorry. There was also a few more posters. So 4 a.m., Sidestep Boys, Copper Tones, a bunch of records on the floor, and a record player. There were some Mylar balloons that were deflated and pinned onto a corkboard. Whole lot of just like boy craziness happened in this room. And I was a teenage girl. I get it. We have a teenage
Mm.
girl. We get it. Lots of books, some clothes, a Big Ben's Magic Carpet kids book in the closet, some nail polish, stuffed animals, and jewelry. So it's all very classic teenage girly girl vibes in this room.
Sure.
Big horse girl energy, big soccer girl energy, that kind of stuff happening.
Horse girl.
I'm a horse girl, so I can but yeah, I just wanted to say those few things because of the link to Sarah between the soccer and the Michael Scott poster. But moving forward, so at the end of this show, we will not have our emotional toll or would we
What?
survive, and we'll explain about that later at
Oh
the end
my
of this.
god.
Yeah. So just you have to stick around to see what we're talking about, unless you're a coffee sub, in which case you understand what we're talking about. And I'm not excluding anyone, I promise. But the coffee subs do get additional content, and things that we talked about were said there that we are keeping for the end of this show. That's all. So I'm gonna shut up before I back myself into a corner and give it over to Andrew's joke corner.
Oh man.
Did the cup. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I tried to find maybe for our next episode, since do we do this part twice or no? I was trying to think about the logistics of this.
Well, and make a note because we'll cut this. Where you started
No, people
asking.
love it,
No, we will do an intro twice.
but not a joke twice or a joke twice.
We'll do a joke twice.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, they are technically two separate independent episodes.
Okay. It's going to be funny for you to say, here's the stuff that I missed on the last episode that we finished 5 minutes ago.
Well, no, I'm not gonna
I'm
talk about
just
that.
messing
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe for the next one, when we're closer to Christmas, I'll find a Christmas one, but I really like this one. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
This is it's less of a joke, no call and response, just a pun, just a straight delivery. I'm going to do my best to deliver this one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
I'm ready.
It's easy to convince ladies not to eat Tide Pods, but it's much harder to deter gents.
I'm not clapping for that one.
Detergents.
Yeah, I get it.
Detergents.
Puns.
Huh?
Ellie would be over the moon with you right now.
Well, there we go.
Yes, that's right, Joel. Thank you. Finally.
That's so dumb.
I have that one too.
I know you do.
Where is it?
That is so dumb. I love it.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. We should have talked a little bit about that too. The Game Awards with Troy, Ashley, Pedro, and Bella.
Or as I like
And
to say, Joel and Ellie and Ellie and Joel.
yes, I love that. People posting that everywhere. Yeah, so they were at the Game Awards for a hot second. I thought it would be a little bit more of an important moment overall, but they just kind of came out, announced something, and went back in. And there was it was a little awkward in the beginning, and then they kind of got it together, which I appreciated that. All that to say, it has been confirmed that Ashley Johnson is playing Anna, Ellie's mom, and Troy Baker is confirmed to be playing Buddy Boy James in David's crew.
Buddy boy.
Yeah. So, just, to kind of like put a bow on that, because that's not what this show is for. I am anybody who's listened to our trailer reaction episode, you know where I'm at with Ashley Johnson being Ellie's mom. That
Yeah.
there's nothing better than this. Absolutely nothing. There is no better casting than that. Period. And I'm including Pedro, Bella, Meryl, like everyone. No one. It's just that. Even Nick Offerman got beat by this.
Wow.
And two, I still don't like that Troy is going to be a part of the cannibalist, creepy, grooming, pedophile ring. I'm not all right with that, but I have
It's
to be
not
all right
Troy.
with it.
To be fair, it's not Troy that's a
Troy
part
playing
of
the
it.
character that's a part of that. Yeah, sorry, Troy. Troy doesn't listen to this. But yeah, I just I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I it's a bummer. It's a bummer because of the significance that Ellie's, uh Ashley the significance of Ashley's role
Mhm.
is completely, like, it could not be better.
Yeah.
It could not fucking be better. And
Yeah.
Troy is just like, where's the significance for his connective tissue with Joel? Like, Joel never had a single moment with James. And if he did, he would have ripped his fucking head right off of his shoulders.
Maybe he
And
will in this
maybe
one.
he will, but that's not what significance? What emotional significance does that give you for Troy's work as Joel Miller in this series?
My thought about it
Mm.
is that they're gonna, they didn't have to cast Ashley or Troy in
Mhm.
this.
I agree.
HBO don't have to cast nobody. They don't want
Yep.
to cast. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, Tony.
I think, I think they probably had a moment with Craig or the team, the casting department,
Mhm.
and they said, show us a little bit of what you can do, your range, what you're capable of. And maybe Ashley, you know, shined bright. And maybe it was an off day for Troy. I don't know. But I think they got the roles that they not not earned, but like they got the roles that were appropriate for what they brought, what they're bringing. You know what I'm saying? The energy they were bringing, right?
Yes, and
You
I
don't want to
so
stuff a show unnecessarily also. That's also it. So like Anna doesn't, as far as we have experienced, does not even exist. So this is spun up brand new whole cloth kind of situation.
no, she exists in The Last of Us. What are you talking about?
I mean, but we don't ever see, we don't meet her
No,
unless
no, we
she's
don't.
in Left Behind. And but so we don't, so anything that we see of her in the show is going to be brand new,
Mhm,
right? As far as we, and it looks like the birth of Ellie, which is something we certainly haven't seen,
mhm.
so um yeah, I don't know,
I know what you're saying, and I think
yeah.
and I had this so Kurth actually wrote into us asking and I know I speak in absolutes, but I know what Nick Offerman looks like. I love the man. I've watched the trailer a dozen times, slow, fast, all which ways. And the picture that Kurth Money sent, he was like, I wonder if this is Jeffrey Pierce. It's not. It's Nick Offerman as Bill. Because Jeffrey Pierce's beard is more gray than black. His hair is slick back, and even if it
Mhm.
was Wiley, it's mostly gray. And Nick Offerman just has a whole different facial structure and weight. So you can see that in the picture. So, I expressed my opinions to Kurth. But it was interesting because he brought up this kind of talking point of why haven't they shown Jeffrey Pierce's Perry character? And and he didn't outright ask that, but I kind of my brain went there and I was like, the only thing that I can think of is that he has a more significant role than we are allowed to see just yet. So, because we have seen everyone now
Sure.
except for Perry. But Jeffrey Pierce still has the beard and still has long hair. So I feel like he is going to be a part of either the tail end of season 1 and a whole lot of season 2. He might be part of the WLF for all we know. And and that's the part of the story that they're waiting to tell with him. But he was introduced at the very end and they don't want to give that away. That's where my brain is going and my argument was out of all of the actors and performance capture artists that were part of The Last of Us, Jeffrey Pierce has the most live action acting credits.
Mhm.
That was his first video game. And and then probably Ashley Johnson and then on down the line. But you know, that's why I just feel like Perry might have a bigger role than Troy and Ashley combined. And that's fine.
Sure.
Because we've talked about this. Like Tommy is significant to the storyline, but he's not a main character. He's a main character supporting actor. But I mean, he's barely in part 1. And the parts that we see him in 2 are just devastating. Anyway, but all that to say, I we have seen him in other things. He has some chops, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah. Putting a bow on that. I didn't want them to shoehorn Troy in for some other thing. If he fits in this role, this is
Got
great.
it.
It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like Ashley is this is an additive storyline. It does not feel, in my estimation thus far, knowing very little about where they intend to go with it, does not feel shoehorned in. That's all.
No, I don't think so either, but I think that's what works so well with how they're adapting the notes and the artifacts into real live characters and stories. Like, what's her name? Melanie Linsky?
Yes.
Yes, I remembered.
You
Um,
did it.
so Melanie Linsky's story, I think that she is that mother who lost her son to the Pittsburgh faction, which will now be in Kansas City, Missouri.
Mhm.
I think that that is who she is. And instead of like, that's a video game ass shit, having notes and artifacts for you as the character to read. But that's not reality. Like, would you find a note here and there if you were going across the country? Absolutely. Would you get a whole fucking story of notes? No.
Oh,
So
I'd look for it. I'd seek them out. Yeah, I
I would
would.
too.
Well, you
But
would, sure.
yeah, I absolutely would. But I just feel that that's what they're doing. So Perry might be ish, or he might be who fucking know? He could be Ellie's father for all we know. His real father, her real father. Who
And we
knows?
meet him and he's alive and
Yeah.
everything's different. And then the story's about Ellie and her dad, Perry.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. All right.
Never mind.
So
I take it back. He's in the WLF.
yeah, he's a bad guy.
He's one of the Seraphites. He's the head Seraphite.
No, I don't get Seraphite vibes from his looks. And I know that's judgy.
Exactly.
I don't mean it in a judgy way.
Exactly.
But all right. So we got a few listener comments from earlier from Mr. Brian A. Andrew, if you would like to read that one.
Brian and I talk on Instagram occasionally when I open Instagram. Brian,
Yes.
if you have Twitter, I'm on there all the time. At least
Or Discord.
Or Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone can add me on Discord. Here, I'll say it right now. I have Discord. Just give me a second here. This is great audio, but I'm going to vamp through it while Discord is starting
And updating. It's 5 updates.
Update.
Yeah.
It's downloading update 3 of 5. Here we go.
It's
Boom. Did
5.
you know? Dark Driving pound 0537 is me on Discord if you want to add me. Dark Driving pound 530. Nope. 0537. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm leaving.
All right. Well, on that same vein, I mean, if you would like to add me on Discord, I'm Jaded Vader #5122.
Done. Let's chat. Let's chat it up.
Let's do it. I gotta be better over there. Yeah.
Brian. Just listening to episode 21 and hearing your thoughts on Maria spilling the tea. This is my headcanon convo, or something like it, that brought that to pass, especially considering the short time they had before the bandits get there. Maria, last I heard, Joel was in Boston. Where did you two link up? Ellie, yeah, that's where we met. Maria, really? You've come all that way? That's surprising considering Sarah. Sarah? Yeah, Wait, you don't know? Blink, blink. Maria, visibly backtracking. Sorry, never mind. Let's get that grub. From there, Ellie naturally puts it together. What you think?
So I briefly went back and forth with Brian about this, and maybe my answers will change by now, but I still just don't see to a point I could see this happening. I could see this happening in a very video game-ish shit way. But two people, and especially someone like Maria, who's very standoffish, and even Ellie to the point of where she didn't even want to go with Maria. I don't necessarily, the only way I could see that working out is Ellie being the type to be, what do you know about Joel? That's what you and I talked about. Like, just, she doesn't want to talk about herself. She doesn't want to talk about their journey. Nothing. Just like, tell me everything you know. Because I've been on the road with this dude for so long and I know like 0.5%. So
Ellie would realistically be like, "What's up with this fucking guy?"
yes, she would. She would. And speaking of the HBO trailer, the Brazilian version of The Last of Us HBO trailer had Ellie saying the word fuck and oh, Bella.
Yeah,
Bella
she did
Ramsey,
it.
you're just slotting in, girl. But I digress. So, yeah, I just in my brain, I still think that this is a little bit of a gray area of why Maria just like spilled the tea, as you said, Brian, so quickly. Because if you literally go through that section with Tommy, like by the bunk beds, picture up the stairway, across the thing, looking down, the generator gets its shield put on, then you walk down, go in, have a conversation with Tommy. It's like a 4-minute, 5-minute altogether thing. And I
Mhm.
just can't see this big bad, not big, but this big secret being just revealed like that. That is my opinion. I think Maria just did a little bit of a dirty there. Did Joel a little dirty there. That's all.
Okay.
But the
All right.
news had to get to Ellie somehow. So
So
it
this is
did.
how. This is
Yes.
how.
Yeah. This is one iteration of how. And but I do like that. So, anytime you guys have thoughts like that, please send them our way. And I feel like I'm missing other comments, but for now we have to start this episode because we are like 41 minutes in.
What?
So, all right.
All right, everyone, get comfortable.
Yes.
If you're laying in bed, fluff your pillow, maybe flip it over to the cool side. If you're sitting on the couch, get a beer or an
Yep.
adult beverage.
Yep.
I'm just going to relax myself. I'm just going to kind of do one of these guys.
Here we go. And here, all the way back. Yep. All right. So we are back on the road again, and we are greeted by a beautiful autumn view of the University of Eastern Colorado, and Joel teaching Ellie about football, the rules, and basically about like first to fourth down and stuff like that. But and I just that was my next line. But we are officially at UEC. Now, before we step one hoof through the gates, double back and go to the end of the line from whence you came. A triangle prompt will get Joel off the horse to stay, and he will say, excuse me, stay, Callus. What kind of name is Callus, anyways? And Ellie, not my fault. You forgot to ask Tommy his name, and Joel sighs and Callus. And there's a comic on the rear seat of the blue gray SUV, so be sure to grab that. And Joel, Ellie, found another one of them comics you've been reading. Ellie, awesome. I'll read it later. And Andrew, can you tell us about what comic it was?
Yeah, this is Savage Starlight Book 7, Free Radicals. After their improbable escape from the arena, Daniela and Ryan are now the two most wanted humans in the solar system. Their newfound infamy has attracted the attention of a mysterious organization called The Last Watch. Following scarce and cryptic clues, the trail the Last Watch. Oh, the trail to the Last Watch has ed them. Has ed them.
I
Let's
would
try
say
that.
following from
Yeah.
following.
Following scarce and cryptic clues, the trail to the Last Watch has led them to Saturn's tiny and misshapen seventh moon, Hyperion.
Interesting. I wish that these existed because I would totally read them. And there's so many just things that link to the Last of Us storyline and continue to all throughout, even in part 2. But after this, ride to the opposite end of the road. There's nothing there, but I tend to go this way and then take the second entrance, make a left, grab the potted meds on the ground, turn around and enter by the guard shack to explore a bit. Now, beyond the broken down cars, SUVs, and trucks on the street, there are more here, along with there is more. There are more? There's
There's
more.
more.
Yeah, there's more just like broken stuff, along with shattered windows in the shack, dumpsters turned over, with flies still buzzing about the trash, which is interesting. And it makes me think of timeline and who was there recently to put recent, like, refuse that would attract flies. 'Cause you would think it would be 20 years old. Anyway, but yeah, there's my brain. But there's a directory sign stating the following: UEC. Then we have the UEC administration, the Melissa Smith Library, and I googled this name, and there is a Mel Smith who is an artist slash game dev at Riot currently, but was previously at PlayStation Studios.
Nice.
So maybe Mel, this was named after you. The science building, Bighorn Stadium, student parking lot, staff parking lot, and we can deduce that those are the buildings ahead of us. There's lots of inaccessible entrances here, but the game guides us on our lofty quest quite well. And eventually, Ellie, okay, none of these buildings look like a mirror to me. And Joel mentions heading to the central grounds as they'll be able to see most of the campus from there. There's lots of pallets around this area, which is always endearing to my heart. Go through the open gate, past the bus barrier and defunct cars, and continue onward. Before hopping the barbed wire blockade, go left. There's nothing in there, but it's pretty. So the insignificant horse loop is still worth it, in my opinion. Then
Mhm.
go right towards the open garage area. Dismount the horse to Joel saying, I'll be right back. And Ellie, I'll be right here. Flamethrower, baby. Now
Let's
we are cooking, literally. So in this garage slash loading dock area, you will find industrial tool chest, industrial shelving, toolboxes, just general boxes, crates, trash cans, trash on the ground, of course, various parts scattered atop those large crates, pallets, pump jacks, barrels, meds, unwrapped pallets. What are those boxes full of? One wonders. A machete, if you are so lucky. A couple more parts on the blue barrel by the doorway. Now, before taking the stairwell to the right, make sure you loop back to hit the workbench and do your upgrade thing. Go back from there and take the stairs now. So exit the first door you come up to go left or right. It doesn't matter which. Make a loop outside on the balcony. There's nothing there, but if you'd like to waste your time, you can do that. Head on up to the next level. Once outside, you'll see a lawn chair and some various supplies. And Joel, there was a lookout here at one point. Ellie, that's a good sign. Now, grab the artifact and get ready for some dates and breakdown and breakdowns rather. And Andrew, this is all you. I'm
Okay,
just gonna
okay, okay,
sit
okay.
back and enjoy my life.
8/29. That's August 29 if you're from anywhere other than the United States, where we put our month before our day. Just know that. 8/29. Nothing. Didn't they say people were coming? What's the point of being out here if nothing happens? 9/1. Still nothing. Mark, quit your bitching. Plenty of time to read up here. Working guard duty on the science lab? That's true misery. 9/14. 5 new recruits from Chicago QZ in. Ha! Finally, one of them gave me a pack of smokes for doing a good job. Sweet. 10/5. 6 guys in from HQ. In. Takes 6 guys to deliver one truck? Must be worse out there than I remember. Supply delivery from HQ. In. By the way, snagged 2 apples from one of the crates. Left you one. Enjoy. 10/31. Halloween. 10 million werewolves in. Let him in just for you, Andrea. Happy Halloween. 11/5. Recon went to scavenge supplies from town. Out. Recon returned in. Roger yelled at me for sleeping. Prick. 12/20. One biologist from San Francisco in. Guy's a real asshole. Watch out for him. 3 new recruits as escort in. At least they wished me a Merry Christmas. Didn't feel like telling them I was Jewish. 2/22. 10 crates from UT Hospital. Lot of stuff. In. 4 veterans wrangling supplies. Out. Lot more mouths to feed with all those scientists. 3/4. 2 veterans who left back in February. In. Supply dump from Dallas QZ. In. Holy shit, we got chicken. You better call me over as soon as they serve dinner. 4/21. 12 veterans to Boston QZ. Out. Wished them luck. 6/12. 3 doctors. Out. No idea why they left. 2 recruits. Out. John said something about scouting, but for what? And finally, 8/20. 4 10-ton trucks and a flatbed in. 1 personnel carrier truck in. 2 veteran drivers in. 4 recruit drivers in. New blonde guy was giving me eyes. I hope he sticks around. By the way, what's with all the commotion? Is anyone going to tell us what's going on?
Interesting. So after finishing that section, go down and back out to Ellie and Callus. And Ellie, so these places, people would live here and just study, even though they were all grown up. Joel, yeah, study, party, find themselves, figured out what they wanted to do with their lives. And Ellie, what they wanted to do with their lives. What is this spelling issue? Sorry.
Themselves is.
I know. It was
There was
like
a semicolon in the middle of the word, dear listener.
so, but before we hop the barrier, let's just chat for a quick second. So, talking point number 1, I love Sports Joel part 13,874 was the number that I keyboard smashed, especially football, Joel Miller. I absolutely love it. Go Birds. So, second point, a fictional university campus is a fantastic location for a world like this for so many reasons. From potential levels of fright and complexity to fresh perspectives, and this is of course for us gamers,
Mhm.
UEC is one of the best locations in this game. And though I've said this many times, we don't spend nearly enough time here overall, in my humble opinion. Imagine being able to access every floor, every room, e- just every fucking thing. And even then, the boiler room. We've talked about boiler rooms in the past and how they would be a good fortifiable location.
Look,
And a fucking university boiler room would be enormous. I wish, I full stop wish that this location could have been a lot more open. But, you know, it is what it is.
yeah, yeah.
So, I think I ask you a little bit later if this is a location you would like you would use. So I'm going to not ask that just yet.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, so Joel and Ellie's ease around one another since the ranch house conversation is palpable. We can tell that thing has been switched between them. And trust was never in question, but permanence was. And now that question mark is gone. They won't leave one another for nothing, and it shows, and it can be easily heard in their voices as well. And I think most especially with Joel, because Ellie was always just herself with him primarily. You know, even when she got pissed off at him or wasn't getting enough from him certain times, you that would come through. But Joel was always just that kind of consistent, like right here, leave me the fuck alone attitude. And now in my, estimations and my calculations, his voice was just a lot warmer to her.
Yeah. No, he's like, well, might as well teach her the rules of football, you know?
Yeah. Like,
So,
whereas before, I don't think that would have been, if she would have asked at any point before that ranch conversation, like, football, did you play? Is it a
mhm,
fun game? Can you teach me about it? He would have been like, does it fucking matter? Like,
right.
yeah. And now he's like, no, let me tell you
Yeah.
about first downs.
Maybe me and Ellie will throw the pigskin around one day, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Who
football's the best
knows?
sport.
Who knows?
Yeah. All right, so that yeah, and the fourth talking point. So I love the artifact in this first section that Andrew did a wonderful job of breaking down. It shows us in detail the ins and outs and the comings and goings at UEC with supplies, personnel, seasons, even holidays. It shows this portrait of the the fireflies, but it leaves a lot to be discussed on either end of it. So who
Mhm.
were the doctors that were coming in? The biologists. Who's the asshole? That's what I want to know. Was it Jerry? But Jerry was a doctor. So who was the blonde giving the lookout eyes? The
Was it
gamers
Cherry?
want to
Was it Cherry?
know. Yeah. And the other and I like that they talked about uh we don't know if this was different. I mean, there's a Roger mentioned here. There's an Andrea mentioned. I'm assuming that Andrea was the woman getting the blonde guy's eyes, but I mean, it could have been another man. We don't know.
Mhm.
All I do know is that I like that there was time like given to us with Halloween, with Christmas, even characters that I didn't have the heart to tell them I was Jewish. That one character. I like that. And it reminds me of Dina, who is Jewish in part 2, and I'm like, is there any link there? Does Dina have a past with the Fireflies? Not that all Jewish people are part of the Fireflies. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it, like, these little things come together
Mhm.
in really wonderful ways with notes like this. So, yeah, but
Who
who was
knows?
the asshole biologist?
Who knows how many of these people we'll meet in the show, if any?
Yeah, like, that's all. I'm just excited to see how they realize the notes in a much different medium.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Section 2. After this, jump the cement partition and proceed. Immediately look up, hit the triangle prompt, and look at the large mascot painted on the brick wall with the banner above that reads, "Welcome back, Bighorns." And Ellie, that's a giant ram. You guys were like idol worshippers. And Joel laughs. When it comes to sports, hell yeah. And fuck, I said it too fast earlier, but I wrote, I agree, Joel. Go birds. But as you ascend the
Mhm.
steps, either the mid hey, the Eagles are kicking ass right now. We're 12-1 and it's wonderful and I love it. But Andrew's not a sports guy, so he doesn't care.
I just say, that's all.
Yeah. So as you ascend the steps, either the middle or the side, I took the left side. That was mine. Yeah, that's, my side. But Ellie,
Mhm.
it's getting chilly. And Joel, it's that time of year. Now, before entering the building with a blown out front exterior, turn to the right, go a bit to the tree on the right hand side, and get the pendant. And the pendant is Hope Pinot, number 000318. And didn't we have another Pinot? It sounds very familiar to me, so I'm gonna have to reference our notes. I should have did that, but
Pinot
I w-
Grigio, maybe.
yeah. Gimme. So, okay, now enter the blown out set. I like how I'm like, okay. That's literally
Okay.
how I
Now,
wrote.
enter the blown out section of the building and
And
start.
like, start to explore.
So easy. And
So
then, like The Last of Us, the end.
oh, that happened. But Ellie, how many people do you think there are? Or how many people you think are there, the Fireflies? And Joel, I reckon it takes quite a crew to run that operation. Ellie, you think there will be any other people my age? And Joel, I'm not sure. And some details. So the clock on the wall in here stopped at 12:18 p.m. or a.m. We will never know. Desks, filing cabinets, folders, binders, bankers boxes, dry erase boards, all standard office stuff. A UEC trophy wall once Joel starts mingling down the hallway. There are trophy walls on either side of him. So I meant to be plural on that. But
Mhm.
there's also a library plaque on the wall. And Andrew, would you like to read about it for us?
Sure. Constituted in 1926, this library was the first in Colorado history to be named after a woman. She was a pioneer and true trailblazer that embodied the spirit of Colorado. Born in 1856 in a small mining town, she grew up as the oldest of 13 siblings. Both her parents passed away before she was 17. She then went on to start a school for her siblings as well as the rest of the children in her town. She went on to open more schools in neighbor towns to help establish a wide reaching educational system that is the bedrock of our system to this day.
Look at that. I love it. I
Go,
never
girl.
read that, but go girl. Yeah, damn straight. So round the corner and approach the metal gate. And as Joel opens the gate, Callus shows signs of fright, signaling danger because horses are the best. Horse
He
girl.
is afeared.
Feared. Mini cutscene here reveals that there are infected nearby, and Joel tells Ellie to stay with the horse because he doesn't want Callus running off. This is cute, Joel, but we also know it's not only about Callus here, and your care continues to show.
About
Now,
horsies,
normally,
yes.
yeah, well,
I
horsies
don't want
and
this horse
Ellie.
running off. We lost a car. I don't want to lose a horse, too.
Fair
God.
enough. Fair enough. But it wasn't just about the horse. But now, normally I creep up the steps and toss Molotovs into the room where the generator is. But today, you know what? I decided to smash some glass down in the common area, and I drew all them bitches down to me. And then I just threw the Molotovs and took them out on the steps. So it was very easy peasy. And I know uh, Jeff would like us to talk more about combat. And I think one of the drawbacks, so Andrew, you might have to like pick up the slack with this.
Uh-huh.
Going forward, try to do combat on a harder difficulty level because it's so easy for me, but I need it to be easy for me, otherwise these notes would take 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
I'm playing on
yeah.
harder mode. Not
Mhm.
so just whatever the one above normal is what I'm playing on.
Hard.
Hard. Yeah.
It's like easy, normal, hard, survivor, and then grounded.
Yeah, I like to play. I like a little bit of a challenge with the combat. So
All right, yeah.
I
So
got that.
you going forward, Andrew will take on more of the combat sequences and what he did. So if you would
Yeah.
like to talk about that here, Andrew, go for it.
Yeah, I didn't use the all them bitches to me method, but I
Just
do what
jealous.
I normally do is a stealthy stealtherson. I went up the steps,
Mhm,
stealth around the outside first because there were two I think up there on the outside that I was able to
mhm.
take out. Then all the ones in the room, throw a bottle or a brick in. I can't remember which one, which crowds them, and then a Molotov. So
Yeah.
I don't like to be rushed. I like to be the rusher,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
Um, I want to try to be in control of this, and this is historically I have not been a flamethrower user because
Mm,
it seems like I know it's a very powerful
the
weapon.
best.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, for certain things. However, made note to like change my default loadout for this section. So
Mhm,
I'm not using just because it's usually um, revolver, shorty, and
mhm.
then shotgun, rifle. That's like if I was running in real life, that's basically what I would rock, right? But this time it was like El Diablo, shorty, flamethrower, and maybe shotgun. I can't remember,
Mm,
but yeah, I was like, okay, I just so I change up combat for myself,
yeah.
I'm going to do this. So I will try to do that like every chapter. Just
Okay.
change the loadout.
Yeah. Alright, good. So, just because again, it dawned on me, I'm like, if I do any kind of, like, super stealthing or trying to do this, that, or the other, it's just going to take the notes forever.
Yeah,
So,
use
Andrew's
the all
gonna
dem bitches method. I get it.
I'm
I
gonna
get it. I
use the
get
all
it.
dem bitches method, and the explosive arrows, which is just insta-kill. So,
To me, to me, infected. Hi ho!
yeah,
And
just
they're
"Brr, brr, brr, brr," just bring them
right.
right down. So
It's Andrew's joke corner. And they all come running. They're like, I'd love to hear a joke. I'm on fire.
but Joel, after I completed that section, he just goes, "That's that." So, after this sequence, and I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit because because I was still downstairs, the conversation prompt happened, whereas normally I'm upstairs and have to fire up the generator and then come down and the conversation happens. So because I drew the bitches towards me, um the conversation happened then. So Ellie says, "Hey, I was thinking, I would have wanted to be an astronaut." And Joel, "That effect." And Ellie, "Could you imagine being up there all by yourself? Would have been cool. I'm just saying." And Ellie, "What about you?" Joel, well, when I was a kid, I used to want to be a singer." And Ellie laughs and then, "Shut up." And Joel, "I'm serious." And Ellie, "Sing something." Joel, no." And Ellie, "Come on, I won't laugh." Joel, "I don't think so." Ellie, "Joel, please." And Joel is just silent after that because conversation over. But
Here's a, I,
before,
I just want to insert one quick thing that I didn't know until recently, and maybe just circling, just to put a little bow on it, especially for this. We know that Troy is quite a good singer, right?
Mhm.
He actually was the singer songwriter of the trailer music for DS2, Death Stranding 2 at the Game Awards. That was
Oh.
Troy singing that. So
Oh, that's awesome.
if you haven't watched that trailer and are interested in I guess it's technically a PlayStation exclusive, not first party, but still check
Yeah.
that trailer out. You'll hear Troy sing.
I did just buy the PS5 upgrade for it, so I wanna play it soon. But, yeah, that's
Future
really interesting.
apocalyptic UPS. Let's go. Troy Baker is in
Toy
Death
car.
Stranding as essentially Troy Baker. Like
Interesting. Alright,
it's
well, don't
his
spoil me.
No, I'm just telling you that. I mean, it's not a spoiler. It was like in the marketing materials, but yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Not as himself, I should be clear. The model they used was of Troy's face in the
got it.
game. So,
Visual.
visually, yeah.
His render, he's just yeah, he's been rendered into a game. Again, because he
Correct.
wasn't Infamous, but lots to detail in this room, so let's just dive right into the Ikaza Jackson Hall, because we just exited Hatfield Hall, not Hadfield. or
Mhm,
Haddonfield.
mhm.
No. But announcement boards with all sorts of flyers, including stop bullying, cheer tryouts, just say no to drugs, and join drama club. There's a few more, but I couldn't make them out. Breaking all the glass everywhere here allows us to see the Gold Rush Denver history lineage as laid out in a cascading history that if you'd like to read, you can. Another trophy display by the couch's computers slash information desk. Just, break it out, knock them over. And and information slash reception area with all the normal office fixings and some parts to grab and a coffee table with Rover, Leave, and more magazines on top, which we see for truly the first time in Joel's house in part two. Just so you guys know, they
Mm,
brought those titles into part one remake design.
okay.
So there's a large bust slash statue of a man, and I couldn't really find out more information about that. Assuming that's Ikaza Jackson though. But
Yeah.
as I was shooting the glass out to view more information, Ellie actually said to me, "You're wasting ammo." And all right, Miss Girl. So I didn't stop though. But there's a
It's not a
lovely
waste if
paintings.
it's bringing me joy,
True.
okay? Or
And
information.
I have the infinite ammo thing toggled on, so it's all good.
Could you imagine, Joe? It's all right. I got infinite ammo enabled.
Ellie would be like, "What the
What the
fuck does
fuck are
that
you
mean?"
talking about? We have 6 bullets.
I have wow. I have infinite.
I have infinite ammo.
Shut up. So there's a lovely painting of mountains by a stream on the way, and it's very large. From there, go
Mm.
upstairs to find the generator. Past endless rows of books on and off the shelves, we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. It's not Hyde. It's it's spelled on all of the books HTDE. It's a
Today,
T. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Hatid,
So,
Hatid.
yeah, Hatid, volume 2, and that's not a typo on my end. There's Thieves of Dawn, The Count of Monte Cristo, Wanted History, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Picture of Dorian Gray, The Scarlet Letter, Don Quixote, Ignoring Time, Union of Heaven, Pride and Prejudice, Disruption of Bliss, The House of Seven Gables, The Moonstone, The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
And we're
which was
missing the most important one.
hold on. The weird thing about The Hunchback of Notre Dame was it's written but backwards. So, like, the book is in a normal, like, when you look at a book, the spine's on the left,
Yeah,
you lift it, but all the lettering was reversed.
that's
So,
interesting. I wonder if that was just like a texture issue where they
probably.
like forgot to check the box to.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It's never just
No.
check a box. I'm just saying that
It was
it's
funny, though.
possible. Yeah.
But you're right, there is one book missing.
But luckily that book is one of our coffee subs, so we can continue.
Yes, it's true. But after that, go into the room with the yellow cord, and Joel will find the generator there. Before starting it, let's have a look around. So, details, desks, printing hardware, sports photographs on the walls, microfilm stations, cork boards, filing cabinets, ballerina portrait, folders, dossiers, office organization, and on and
Dossiers.
on. So, fire the Jenny up and then get back down to Ellie. But on the way, I noticed a couple plaques near the entrance exit of the Melissa Smith Library with the following names: Dr. Keller Thomas, the Smith family tree, Martha Kemper, Dr. Keith W., Dr. Cindy K., John Marcus, Hannah Segura, Joshua Atkins, Garrett Michael, and another one down on the opposite end with Timely Bartlett. Timely.
Timothy Bartlett.
Sorry. Oh, Tim, I'm sorry. Timothy Bartlett, Gwendolyn Sue, Clayton Medina, James Temple, Catherine Rayleigh, Eliza Harriod, William V. Perry Rose. Maybe that's the Perry. Maybe that's
Perry,
Jeffrey's
we
Perry.
figured it out.
We got
Jeffrey
you.
Perry Rose. Perry
Jeffrey
Rose
Pierce
is like
Perry Rose.
that's a pretty great name, actually. It like
Yeah, it is.
that's like an actor ass name, Perry Rose.
I like it.
That's like
And
Brad
last but
Pitt.
not least, yes. And last but not least, Robert Andrews on the plaque.
Fair enough.
So, after all of that, go back downstairs, head towards the wall panel, the electrical panel, and there is a note by the gate which reads the following. Andrew?
We had to rig up the door to the generator upstairs. Please use it sparingly as we're running out of gas.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Doesn't sound
no.
great. Uh-oh.
No. Nope. But flip the switch and the gate rises and get back on Callus with Ellie. Now, before we move on to the next section, let's just chat a little bit. So, Ellie's open call to meet kids her own age is, like a lot of other points of this game, heartbreaking. She once had that back in the Boston Military Preparatory School, but has been surrounded by adults and death ever since. So it stands to reason that beyond her desire to cure humanity, she wants friends too. And it's a kid just wanting to be a kid. And I think that we talk a lot about her personality and how it changes so dramatically between part 1 and part 2. And even in this, and even in the future in part 2 when she actually has friends in Dina and Kat and Jesse and others that we don't know, it's has it helped her necessarily, or is it just more of the same? Because they're still living in that adult/death dominated world, and there's nothing that can be done about that. So kids can't truly be kids, and I think that that just loops back to how heartbreaking this story can be.
Yeah, yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
Mhm. So I did write discuss combat tactics for the runners in the library. I kept it simple, but what did you do? So I did put that as a question and a prompt. I think just to remind myself in case I forgot, but Andrew already did that. So we're gonna move
Mhm.
on to the third talking point. I love Joel's scooch or scoot back comments to Ellie, because if anybody remembers at the very beginning of the game in the prologue, scoot was one of the first things that Joel said to Sarah as he wanted to shoo her to the other side of the couch when he came
Yeah.
home from work late on his birthday. So
Mhm.
the outbreak blew the whole world apart, but some things remain. And that tiny little thing, it's the connective tissue that we love very much about this story. And hopefully the show. I'm gonna put that in there.
Yeah.
So colleges, here it is. Colleges slash universities as fortified locations. Give me your thoughts, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm of two minds on this one.
Yes.
Um, it depends
Okay.
on the age of the school.
Okay.
So,
The older the better?
yes, in this case, when
Hmm.
they were like legit, like stone and marble buildings, chef's
Castles.
kiss, great.
Yeah.
Old buildings at the University of Penn, where I often find myself for work related things, are basically impenetrable.
Yeah.
Like, even down to the doors being made of just like a solid piece of lumber, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're heavy. So it would be very easy to build upon that kind of thing with relative ease. Also,
Yeah.
the fact that while some of it is electronic, a lot of those doors just like lock behind you. Like they close and it's
Yeah.
locked, right?
Hmm.
So there are a lot of just very, just there, the inconvenience of having to try to get through some of these uh, these just issues would probably deter a lot of people. It would certainly keep an infected out. Maybe even a bloater, I would say, depending on how I don't know. Actually, I'm taking that back about the bloater now. Runners, stalkers, and people certainly very easy to keep out with an old university building.
Yeah.
If it was a new modern university building, a lot of them suffer from a problem called floor to ceiling windows.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
that's just not good for the epoch because, like, one well placed brick or time will start to crack a
Yeah.
window. They need maintenance. So, I would say it depends. And UEC seemed to be, in my estimation, erring on the side of a little bit older, at least
Yeah.
some of the buildings.
Uh-huh.
I like the idea of the using the dorms for housing. That's pretty smart. And
Mm.
because the dorms were like connected as well, like through a bathroom, that seems real smart too, because you could have your own space but still have access, right, while keeping the
Yeah.
outside world at bay.
Mhm.
So there were a lot of like it got the wheels turning for me. I was like, oh, there are a lot of really great ideas about why you would want to fortify this place specifically, like
Yeah.
space, connected areas, and also just based on like the age of some of the buildings, very cool. I would say like almost definitely for an older university, good place to be. Good place to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I think the one talking point, and I know we'll discuss this when we get to the dorms for sure, is that none of those dorm doors were barricaded. Like, we were able to get through pretty much every single one
Mhm.
and cut through the adjoining bathrooms to get into the other room and then leave through that door. So that is an interesting talking point about why wouldn't they just basically, and by they, I mean the students left behind, or, any residual teachers. It just seem to be students though. Why wouldn't they basically leave only one door accessible and brick or cement over all of the others, and just basically blow out all of the walls between bedrooms? So, like, you'll still have 2 rooms that share a bathroom, 2 rooms that share a bathroom, but all of them have access to one another, and one door remains accessible for one person to leave and get supplies, possibly
Just
closest or farthest from the stairwell, whichever would be safer.
yeah. That also causes a choke point though. I wouldn't live there if that was the case. I
It
like
does, but there's
I
so
would
many
rather just
points
have
of
some sort
failure.
of I would rather just have some sort of like barricade system, just the very simple like two hooks and you drop like it doesn't even have to be like a hockey stick, just like
Yeah,
anything that stops that door from opening. I would prefer something like that. But
yeah.
point taken. I did like just that you had two rooms that were connected together. It's better than say, I guess depending on how depending on the building, you might get that in a hotel as well, like adjoining rooms, right?
Mhm,
Same concept, like to be able to have like there's the outside world, but then also we can move freely between these two spaces. And when you're like it could just be like this is the space where we store our supplies and maybe have a workbench and do all this stuff over here. And then we close and lock this door, we close and lock this door, and this is where we sleep right here in this one spot as well. So
yeah.
yeah, that really I was like, oh, university, we can add that to the list.
Yeah,
Add it to the list.
I know, we're gonna have to, like, figure out what all of the talking points were, and I think if we just go based on chapter alone, we'll be able to figure it out, but
I have it written on a piece of paper somewhere
yeah,
right
but you
here on
haven't
my desk.
updated it in months.
It doesn't, it's just a running list in my head as well.
So
How about this? Boom. Oh, someone's phone number on there too. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Here. There you go.
yeah. What is in the corner? Because your video
It
is
says
very
it
blurry.
says list of places. List of places. I don't
List
know.
of places. Yeah. Interesting. Alright, so we can definitely add a, university to list so long as it's at least 80, like, 50 to 80 years old, if not older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-century is kind of where things start to take a turn for the more
Modern,
late
contemporary,
60s, early 70s is where things get a little bit
cheap.
dicey.
Cheap.
So,
While charging more for college. But so on to the next section. Once outside the Melissa Smith Library, you can take the steps left or right, but don't bother because both areas are blocked off and there are no supplies to be found there. And you can't really see anything, so it's not even that appealing to look at. But go on, go straight on down the line and make a left. But before Joel hops the cement dividers, make sure you go right towards a blue dumpster pressed up against a wall. Hop up, climb into the hole on the side of the building, and there are parts and meds to grab, as well as a Firefly pendant. And
mhm.
we have Alex Roner number 000260. And this is just
Rona.
another office space with all the typical fixins. So grab the loot and get going. And on the opposite end of the office space, there is a billboard section with a few flyers, though, real quick. And well, is it on the opposite? I thought it was out front. So I don't think it's on the opposite end of I think it's like out front of the office space. I just didn't write the right words. But there's apartment for rent, 2 bedrooms, 2 restrooms, 1 wash area per unit, very low rate. And for inquiries, call 720-555-0198. A Save Life, Donate Blood Now book sale when Monday, October 4th from 12 to 6 p.m. Where? The library. Secondhand course books, dictionaries, novels, and more. We also accept book donations. There's an a cappella group competitions, and that is happening or was supposed to happen on Saturday, December 14th at 4 p.m. at the Solo Theater. Sing our hearts out.
Mhm.
That's what that's what they want. There's a Bighorns football advertisement as well as the Road to Victory, and I want to sing the Fly Eagles Fly theme song, but I won't. And as you cross the barrier, Ellie, oh, are those monkeys? And Joel, yeah, a whole mess of them. Now, real quick,
A
and I
mess of
replayed this.
monkeys.
Yeah, I played this twice because I'm pretty sure Ellie makes it like a delightful sound, and Joel's like, "First time seeing a monkey?" And Ellie goes, "First time seeing a monkey." But I can't remember if it's here or if it's later on in the actual like, in the next section. So, it didn't happen for me here. I don't know if it just glitched out, but I wanted to put that in there just in case because I remember.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
But there is nothing around this courtyard, so head to the right where you will find another blue dumpster, and you can either use this or the broken out window to get up to the second floor. Um, or again, the dumpster to mount the roof and enter the dorms that way. So once you are inside, on the desk is a health kit upgrade manual, so be sure to grab it. And Andrew, can you tell us what that is about?
I can. Chapter 6: Improved First Aid Measures in the Field. Sterilization. Sterilization is essential for the effectiveness of wound treatment in the field. 1. If unable to wash hands or wound, prep hands and wound site with iodine, alcohol. Debride wound with sterilized tools or cover hands in sterile cloth or plastic to limit contamination. Irrigate one thoroughly with clean water.
It's
Water may
wound.
be...
Sorry. Irrigate wound.
Wow. Irrigate wound thoroughly with clean water. Water may be field sterilized by boiling for 15 minutes. Then finally, dress wound with sterile bandages prepared either boiling in water or soaking with alcohol. Dry bandage thoroughly before applying to wound.
Now we know how to save ourselves.
Thank God.
But there's lots to loot in this area, parts, meds, ammos, etc. After running around, stop and take a look at a few things. The left side of the wall is a memoriam. So it says, "In loving memory," and it is a board dedicated to those who died or became infected. Many young, beautiful people here. Lots of real person images everywhere. It's very sobering to look at. There are candles, flowers, and such, and it is an altar for those to either pray at or remember or just spend some time with their loved ones or friends that they've lost. Lots of shelves, makeshift beds, boxes, clothing, cleaning sprays, empty food cans, lights, mini fridges, curtain dividers, cots, book bags, chairs, etc. So exit the way you came in and go back to Callus and Ellie. Past the building and you'll spot a Firefly logo on the wall to the left. And Ellie, "Hey, look, fireflies." Joel, "I see it." Ellie, "This is good." Gallop around for a little bit and then cut through a stone tunnel. Ellie, "Should we have seen someone by now?" Joel, "Maybe these guys like to keep a low profile." Ellie, "Yeah, maybe." More announcement boards with the same information back here, so head towards the next tunnel and proceed from there. So I decided to blow out a few more windows and just, because I like breaking glass. And again, Ellie called me out on it with a, "Whoa, you got bullets to spare?" And I just love this ass. But uh Joel approaches the gate, blocking the tunnel entrance, and all right, let's try the gate. The gate, of course, does not work, and Joel says what we are all thinking: figures. Crouch
Figures.
and enter the office space, and Ellie, be careful, and Joel, you too. So in this room, there's more office paraphernalia, plus vending machines, lanterns, mailboxes, and this is clearly the entrance to the dorms. Couches, coffee tables, front desk, information area, and much more. Make sure you run around and just take in all the details of this entire space, including where we take Joel next. So grab the UEC map artifact, which has the following text. Andrew?
A map of the UEC campus with circled areas in handwriting on it. Top. Getting slammed here. Must be for barricades?
Maybe must beef up barricades? Sorry.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh my
Must
god.
beef up barricades. That's the top of the map. Bottom. Infected slipping through here. Need to reinforce all stadium and bookstore exits. And then a side note says, The UEC address is listed 3125 Roxton Boulevard, Boulder, Colorado, 90405, 303 555 0010. I called it. It did not work.
No,
No 555 numbers work.
exactly. So grab the parts in the plastic tub, and it's time to get our ass into gear. But first,
Let me
how
take a
long?
selfie.
Yes. But first, how long were students holed up in this place at this point before we read their notes? How long do you think that they were in here waiting? And I know we get the notes and we get to read a little bit of the horrors that these kids dealt with, and that right there, truly, in my opinion, this university and these kids could be a Last of Us story unto itself. For real. But could you imagine, Andrew, like there is no information going in or getting out. It is fortified. We've discussed it. It's fortifiable enough to survive longer than the average citizen or household back then in the beginning. But they are going to run out of food. They are going to run out of water. They are going to have bandits and infected and just Fedra stragglers, factions. Like they're going to have to be dealing with all of this.
Mm.
But for right now, to start, how long do you think that these students were there? We know that it says at least 9 months on one of the notes. Do you think it was longer? Or do you think
Not
it was
much.
just 9 months and then bam, something
Not
happened?
much longer,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
There's always that guy. There's always that guy who's like, we got to get out of here. We got to go get help.
He panics.
Don't ever
Yeah.
listen to that guy. He's going to get you killed.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go be a hero, guy. It's
By
always a guy,
yourself.
right? You take as many people as you want with you. That means more rations for us. But you go ahead. Go find help. We'll be right here where it's been safe for 9 months.
For real.
I think, imagining how this game goes, the tone, what we have seen thus far, seems reasonable to me to think that something like that happened. Maybe a group splintered off, took some supplies with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it just turns out it just becomes the way where you eventually do need to leave to get things to eat, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to be sustained forever.
Mm-hmm.
College might be a college, I should say, might be a better spot than most places to hole up in terms of supplies. If you have things like vending machines and a cafeteria and all that, like a well-stocked freezer area,
Sure.
right? That might get you a little bit longer than the average bear, but a year, right?
If
In one
at
spot,
that. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems like stretching it quite a bit. So I would say at that point, it just, you might lose a person and then a person and then and it just, everybody, you just start dropping. So either they die or they disappear or they try to find a new place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the last one we got was written at the 9-month mark, I would say it's not long after that because we would have read a note like, been here for a year,
Yeah.
So that's kind of just how I interpret that. If they give us a period of time, that might be the last thing that was even written in this building, right? It might have been 9 months and then the person's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. There's infected everywhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I mean, there's an upcoming news clipping that just talks about how Fedra just called off all search and rescue efforts beyond like a 5 or 10 mile radius, whatever it was. We'll talk about that shortly. But it's just sad to think that, like, from our perspective, like as parents and even as these students, like, can you imagine what they're thinking? Like, my parents are probably dead. And the parents are probably like, my kid is probably dead. Like, what? You just never know. And I can't even imagine, you know, there might have been kids at UEC that lived and were from Maine. So it's like even then the information input and output is even more
Yeah.
impacting because they have no way of even getting remotely close to their family. And I would wager that a bunch of kids probably did leave early on trying to get back to their families or get to a quarantine zone, but it was just this pocket, I guess, because colleges have a shit ton of kids, and it didn't seem like a lot of them stayed behind.
I get it. Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
yeah. So, the next talking point. So the map definitely indicates the upcoming battle combat sequence that we will have with the infected. Although I don't know if I expected it to be as many as there ultimately will be, including the bloater. But do you think people, and by people I mean gamers, people who have played this game multiple times now, do you think that people stop to read these artifacts more often than not to glean any potential information about combat sections, or are people more adept to just kind of infer that one is going to come the deeper we get into this campus?
The latter.
That makes me sad. I
Well,
love
we don't.
reading
I
them.
don't. I don't assume that. Uh, I just knew that. Oh, it had been a minute since I've fought anything. Things have been kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a flamethrower. Oh, here's some bullets. Oh, an arrow.
Yeah.
How lovely.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, well, nothing good lasts forever.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's kind of I don't read the articles, and again, I have knowledge of where this game goes, but like even in games that I'm playing now, I'm not reading a thing. And actually, I believe maybe only a Naughty Dog caliber game would even be able to telegraph this information to you effectively. So let's just put that out there right away.
Yeah.
I'm not reading it thinking like, oh, because this note could have been written 20 years ago. Well, not 20, but like 5 years ago when it was applicable. And now the infected have been distracted by a bird or a rock and have gone over there, heard, heard a sound. I'm over here now. I
Yeah.
follow that sound. Let's go kill it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thought on that is,
A bird or a
might not
rock.
be applicable to today but clearly Naughty
Fair enough.
Dog, the seeds are there. Like if you want to read into it, what we're about to experience is this.
Yeah. But it stands to reason though that this note one is old, because of the age of the clickers and the bloater.
Yeah.
So, like, this, those barricades were never beefed up, clearly. Or, I mean, they were, because there's a vending machine blocking off the door and it's a
Mhm.
hole in the fucking ground, so it's not like a clicker can just jump the fuck up, and they're not smart enough to be like, let me push this thing to climb up." Like, that's not gonna happen. So, but
They're
could
loathing.
but that also, this is more talking points for the future, but I'm just kind of here right now. If these students were there for 9 months and they had to, or students whomever was there for 9 months at minimum, and they had to beef up the barricades, and let's say they did,
Mhm.
because they did have that floor to themselves. I mean, would you feel safe with brand new runners and stalkers beneath you? Because I don't think anybody was there by the time, clickers, and certainly not by the time the bloater became a bloater. I don't think anybody was there. I just don't know if I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna live up here above them and hope they don't come through that giant fucking hole in the wall or in the
Yeah,
floor."
you're sleeping and you hear like
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, this is
it's
not a
like, all
pleasant
right, I guess I'm
experience.
up again for the 367th night in a row because this guy won't shut the fuck up downstairs.
Or would you just treat it like a fish in the barrel situation where you just fucking post up and wait for them to come by the hole and snipe them? Like, I don't
I
what's
don't even think you have to snipe them, really. You just get like a sword or something and just like
who has a sword at college?
there's got to be fencing equipment. That's all I'm saying at college, or a spear. You could fashion just a knife on the end of a broom and just go just
I
through.
guess, yeah.
That's actually, I mean, that is one of the smarter things. I got to give it up for these kids on floor 2. So
Yeah.
rest and rip kids on floor 1. Create, yeah. If you were to, they had no escape, which
Yeah.
was, well, I shouldn't say that. It seems like the best escape route for that. The best fortification is get on floor 2, barricade the doors to floor 2, smash a hole in the floor, and then have a ladder up, ladder down situation, right?
Yeah.
Because even if someone forgets to pull the ladder up or they're getting chased right, they're only moving so quickly up a ladder versus like a door opens and
Yeah.
lots of infected could flood in. But even
Mhm.
up a ladder, it's basically one at a time.
Yeah.
Everyone get in line, wait for your turn. There's no
Just
flushing up a ladder, right?
yeah.
So that's props. That's a pretty smart idea. Clearly they weren't doing it, but or maybe they
Floor 2
were.
kids.
Those floor 2 kids got, they must have been, they were the scientists, I guess, maybe. And floor 1
Yeah.
kids were the art majors, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea.
Or, oh, I just came up with a really sad counter to that.
Okay.
What if floor 2 kids ended up being floor 1 kids because
They couldn't
of
get up in time.
no, listen, we know mold is destructive. It is awful. It gets into everything. It attaches itself. The spores attach themselves to everything.
Mhm.
So what if it just that was a big pocket underneath, which it wasn't because when you drop down as Joel, it's like in the common room area. And while there was certainly like CBI growing on the walls in pretty much everywhere down there, he didn't land in a pocket of CBI. But
Mhm.
for sake of conversation, let's just say all of that moisture, all of that mold, all of it rotted away the floor, and the kid, like at least a kid, fell down there.
And that's why it's kind of the importance of Clorox bleach. We want to make sure that we keep things nice and pour some down there every now and then. Spray
Yeah,
bottle.
well, bleach is wonderful, but honestly, when it comes to like, and I've learned a lot about mold just in passing because I love this one podcast. But anyway, but like any kind of severe mold or black mold situation or things like that has to be remediated by just gutting everything.
Just burn it
Like
down.
you need to either burn it down or rip it out and throw it away. And wood is the number one thing. You cannot just pour bleach on wood and fix it because the mold will come back and come back and come back. So that the dorms were more wood than not, and which is why I think that first floor just became ground zero at UEC. But yeah, maybe floor 2 kids became floor 1 kids and Joel killed them soon.
Yeah. If you're infected, if you're a floor 2 kid and you're infected, get in the hole, bitch. You just kick them in the hole. Now you're a whole person. Get out.
I mean, that's also a viable option too.
That's what I'm saying. Literally, try to push someone out of a door and close it, but they'll be kicking. No, please,
Yeah.
let me. But you go to this is Sparta. Boom. Get in the hole. Get out.
Come stand with me by the pit of death.
Come stand with me by the pit of death. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that idea too for floor 2.
Yeah.
It's honest, right? You're bit.
Get out.
Fuck out. Get the fuck out. We'll give you
But
2 options. You'll get kicked in the hole or you could jump down yourself. But either way,
you're
you're
going
going in the hole.
Yeah. No, for real. Yeah. But then another counter to that, and we've been saying that on this show for how long, is that people don't fucking tell you when they get bit or infected.
I know.
But it's tragic.
Except Tess, beautiful Tess.
But she didn't even say it at first.
I know.
Ellie figured
She
it
was
out.
just like, here's a heroic thing I can do. God, she was about
Yeah.
to say it. She was about to say it.
She was close.
It didn't have to be said at that point.
Yes, I agree. All right, so what we're gonna do, and I just hit the shit out of my mic. What we're going to do, and this is why I said earlier we're not doing the emotional toll, the would we survive? Although theoretically we could do that. Should we do that real quick?
Up to this point,
Well, I mean, we had the infected battle by the generators.
I have a great idea. Look, we don't have to. This could just be TBC, right? To be continued.
Well, that's what this is.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. Is we don't have to reintroduce. Or I mean, it's completely up to you. Whatever you want to do. I'm not trying to. I'm here for a good time. So you just let me know what you want to do.
Okay, so I mean what Andrew is getting at is we are breaking this episode up into 2 parts because it is long. We did 3 sections and we're already at an hour and 40 minutes, and we still have 3 more sections. So because of the holiday season, because of scheduling, because of all of the things that we've been talking about for the past couple months, the longer episodes going forward will be split into part 1 and part 2. So if an episode approaches, like, if we know it's going to be at minimum 2.5 hours to 3 hours, we're splitting them. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing with this episode. So part 2 will drop in 2 weeks, in the week of Christmas, actually.
2 week. Yeah. Just a week after this, you get this episode. Right?
No, not the week after this, because the week after this is a bonus show. Every other week is a main show.
2 weeks. Got it.
Yes. Andrew's welcome to Wayfaring Strangers, Andrew.
Hi, everybody. My name's Andrew. Welcome to Wayfaring Strangers.
So yes, you are going to you'll get the back half of this section in 2 weeks. Just to be mindful of your time, of our time, the holiday season, and so on and so forth. So we're not doing the emotional toll or the will we survive. However, we are going to do the social media and contact details and stuff like that. So please, if you would like to reach out to us, you can follow us on Twitter at TLOU Podcast, or you can follow us on Instagram, where I'm trying to be more active, which is Wayfaring Strangers, and that's Wayfaring without the G. You can email us directly at tloupodcast@gmail.com if you would like to have access to additional content, our bonus Christmas episode coming up shortly. I will probably add part 2 of this podcast early as well. So coffee subs will get part 2 of this show a week before the regular feed does. If you'd like to be a part of that, you can go over to which is ko-fi.com/TLOU podcast. So our next episode air date will be next week sometime. It will be a bonus show. We don't know whether it'll be listener artifact or email. We will figure it out when we sit down. And again, with timing, don't keep us to any certain day because scheduling. But there will be an episode per week, no matter what. I promise. And a little quick tidbit, and I included this link in our show notes, but there's an interesting website that kind of serves as a UEC bulletin board of sorts, like an information desk. And it is clearly a fan-made site, but it looks very official. So it's like the actual link is like Wasted West, Deadlands Higher Learning University of Eastern Colorado. It's a fun little internet Easter egg that I found related to The Last of Us. Doesn't really have any information that adds to anything. It's just basically like the University of Eastern Colorado. This is the address. This is when it was blah, blah, blah. So just, if you want to check that out, go over to our notes in your podcast app.
Give it a click.
Yes. As always, special shout out to our coffee subs. We absolutely love you guys. And we are just so grateful for you all the year, but especially this holiday season. And so let's dive in. So Mr. Joel, thank you always. Mari, Kelsey, Brian, Dave, Kurth, Jim, MC, Georgia, Wander On, and
Baby Shadow.
Look at that. You got the treatment. The treatment. And also, just if you look behind Andrew right now, our Christmas lights are all starting to be seen because it's getting darker outside. And that was also part of the coffee, the coffee exclusive. Got to see Andrew running around, turning on all of these things. So
you may have gotten to see some of my underwear, if that helps.
Yeah, I had to
sway
yell
your
at him.
decision one way or the other.
Yeah. Do you want to see Andrew's MeUndies?
Just like, just peeking out from,
nothing illicit. No NSFW up on this, bitch. Minus my language.
We'll save that for our OnlyFans. OnlyFans.com/TLOU podcast.
Stop. That's not happening.
Of content coming soon there.
I mean, if I lose all the weight that I want to lose, I would not say no. But
I'll podcast naked. I don't care.
So, quick little update on Wayfaring West number 2 that is coming imminently to our coffee subs, and Wayfaring West 1 will be dropping on the regular feed very soon as well. I am finally now building our website. It's coming along nicely. It will be done by the end of the year. I'm just trying to compile images. I'm designing a bunch of stuff because I want multiple pages and for people to have a good time there. Whether it's redundant and a waste of time, I don't know or care. I'm having fun. So, that is that. And yes, look out for the special Christmas episode only for our coffee subs. They are choosing the topic if you'd like to be a part of that. Again, ko-fi.com/TLOU podcast. So thank you to all the lovely listeners of this show. We hope you are having a wonderful and safe and as stress-free as possible holiday season. We are grateful for you, for every single person that has ever downloaded this show. We'll do more appreciation talk towards the closer to the end of the year, but still just want you guys to feel the love because we absolutely do as well. Andrew, would you like to do the closeout this week or next week? I can write too.
Let's do that. Let's do it next week. Let's save it.
All right.
Because we kind of changed up the ending here. So let's just, let's save it for the full shebang. Even
Okay.
though, everyone will be thanked once again on episode 2 and all that good stuff. Yeah. Save it.
Okay.
Save it.
All right. Well, I guess we could just kind of go out on a Joel bang, which sounds dirty, but just hit all those cues.
Hey, nicely done.
Surprise.
Pretty sure
Getting
these are
dark.
velociraptors. Getting dark.
Trust me. Now, there we go. Trust me.
I think that's it.
It's wonderful. That's all it has to be.
Pretty creepy.
I love it. Oh, Ellie, my girl. And that is our show for today. Please come back to hear part 2 in 2 weeks. Thank you guys. And yeah, we'll talk shortly. Bye.